Hey guys, it's 101R Smith, back again with yet another review, this time of the High Grade Moon Gundam. Now, you might be asking yourself, what the hell is a Moon Gundam? Well, this thing got announced back this past spring at the Zinjuku Hobby Show, and for a lot of people, it's been a very anticipated release. Initially myself, I was gonna pass on it because I typically don't really build high grades, but there was a lot of buzz around it and I just couldn't pass myself up. So what exactly is a Moon Gundam? We keep going back to this question. Now, you see, the Moon Gundam in terms of the Gundam War, it goes like this. So the manga Moon Gundam takes place between Double Zeta and Char's counterattack. The Moon Gundam in itself is essentially a prototype Sazabi. What happens is that Amuro and his unit, while everything is happening with the Second Neo-Zeon War, and Double Zeta goes down to take down some remnants of the Titans. The Titans had a custom Hazel Gundam type unit, and Amuro was able to shoot it down, its head clean off the unit. So the Neo-Zeon pockets of people who were still on the moon preparing for Char's, counterattack, decided to make a prototype using the head of that same Hazel unit. So it's essentially a prototype Sazabi with a Gundam head. And when you look at it from the exterior, it definitely looks like Sazabi. And, here we are. This is a pretty exciting build. It's very anticipated, and, I kind of see this kid as Bandai deciding to come out and flex its muscles in terms of what it can do with high grade line. And I'm pretty excited to see what we do. So why don't we open up the box and see what we have here. When you start to open up the box, you'll see that this is a lot bigger than your average high grade kit. And you'll see why, because there are plenty of runners to go around on this thing. So when you open up the box, you'll see that you'll be getting two tones of white. A grayish white and a very pale white to go with it. As well, you'll be getting a almost violet colored blue platings for both the chest and the shoulder pads. You'll be getting 4 runners filled with inner frame, which is very impressive for a high grade. A runner with the weapons, your clear beam effect parts for the tomahawk and boomerang, and yellow pieces for the weapons as well. Thankfully, they include a clear green and both a clear piece for you to use as the eyes, and you'll get a very beautiful translucent red and an action-based 5, which is pretty big haiku. All built up, and now we have the High Grade Moon Gundam. And I have to say, this is one of the high grade kits I've ever built. So much color separation, really complete inner frame with only some missing in the panel line details, color stickers, or poly used at all in this kit. This is all just polystyrene plastic, and it just did. As well, the translucent red really pops out, and as well the panel line details that are on this kit is phenomenal. They just blow the water of what Bandai can do with a high grade kit. Now, while it looks good, why don't we take like always, we're gonna start with the head. The head has 2 joints on itself, so it can do chicken, side to side, up and down, and 360 degrees, no problem, so long as you're mindful of the chin. The shoulder can go very far, as well as the arm can go out very far beyond just parallel to each other, and can go 360 degrees, no problem. Gonna get a double jointed elbow, as well as some articulation on the sides. Front and the side skirts can go out with no trouble, as well as you'll be getting a beautiful double jointed knee band with shifting armor and a little bit of pistol detail in there as well. As well, the toes can move side to side, front to back, and that's with no polycaps. As well, you get some swiveling in the backpack as well. Overall, just like with this detail, the articulation on the Moon Gundam without the moon translucent parts is amazing. It's like with any other kit, the Moon Gundam comes with a plethora of accessories. One of which is unique, and we'll get right to it because it's the big red elephant in the room. The biggest accessory in the Gundam is essentially the cycle frame. Since this is a prototype of the Sazabi, the cycle frame acts as very familiar and reminiscent to funnels. Think of like New Gundam, and the detail on the back as well as the front is amazing. Thankfully, it has a couple of joints to where you can add the cycle frame onto the Moon Gundam, such as here, you can use some of the cycle frame as a shield, and it has a lot of variations on how to use the backpack as well. One of which you can have it folded up, and to be honest, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, if you think this thing can stand without the action base, you are out of your luck. I'm sorry, this thing will not stand with that cycle frame on its back. Thankfully, Bandai was happy enough to include that as well as the packaging. And once you see that moon just out there glimmering in the light, it looks amazing, and it definitely helps with its unique look into the Moon Gundam. In terms of weapons, first off, you'll be getting a beam rifle. Very simple, just two pieces slapped together, but it has a ton of detail. And you do get one trigger finger hand that you'll be able to use in order to pose. With posing with the action base, you have a ton of freedom to let your imagination run wild on this kid. Backpack be damned, if you want it to look good with the action base, you can make it happen like nothing. Next is the Beam Tomahawk, and this is definitely where you'll see the Sazabi and Sinanju. This looks just like it came off the Sinanju, with the only thing it's red instead of yellow. Just like the beam weapon, once you have it posed up on the action base, you can get a ton of great posing out of it as well. It looks really good and it has a lot of versatility. And I also think that the red beam effect part would have worked a lot better here than yellow or even green. The last bit of accessory is you get a set of beam boomerangs. What you do, you get these small little beam effect parts attached with it, and you can attach those beam effect parts. You can add those into the back of the forearms here, and you're kind of like one of the more kind of situations with this kid. I mean, you can't really throw them like boomerangs like they do in the instruction manual. It would have been nice to have been included, some of the beam effect parts to make that possible. It's in the artwork, why couldn't we get it just like in the box? We are at the end of the review, and what do I think about the Moon Gundam? This thing is fucking awesome. Sorry for the vulgarity, but I mean, this thing is just a piece of work. This thing has 80% of a full inner frame, only missing inner frame in the shoulders and a bit of the torso. This thing has a ton of detail. All of the accessories work in a practical sense. Yes, you're not going to be able to have it stand on its own without the action base, but Bandai was very nice and gracious to give you the new action base 5 to come with this kit, which also adds into the price. I got this for $40 off of Image Anime, and that's because I pre-ordered this thing. Should you be paying $40? That might be pushing it a little bit for some people, but I think for me, it worked out pretty well. There is one little nitpick I do have, and I find that the joints that pop into the legs don't really stay secure, and they come off very easily. I don't really know why. It might just be me, but I do find those little connector pieces to be very loose, and they come off just a little bit too easy. Is the Moon Gundam the greatest high-grade kit ever? I can't be the one to actually say that, but I'll say it's definitely one of the best. Bandai really wanted to flex its muscles and show, hey, here's what we can do on 1/44 scale, and it's not even real grade. This thing is just a beast, and I highly suggest that anyone who can pick this up who has any fleeting interest into the Universal Century timeline, go get this and make this a part of your collection. You will not be disappointed whatsoever. This is 101 R. Smith, and I will see you later. Peace.